Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to HeroesHearth Warcraft 3. My name is Kendric, and we're back with another interview for the upcoming fight night. This Friday, we're going to have a legendary matchup from the European perspective, because we have Neutron from Russia, the reigning champion, defending the title against the Orcish Horde, represented by my German countryman, Spiral. Spiral, it is my pleasure to have you, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Spiral, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty good so far.
Optimistic to beat Neutron this Friday?
Yeah, of course.
Nice. That's what the Orc fans and the casters want to hear. There we go. And you have a lot of momentum at the moment, you know. You qualified for the W League Europe playoffs. Now you're challenging Neutron for the Fight Night title. What's your secret for your recent success?
I think in general, a huge part of my current good shape is that ever since I came back in like end of 2018, I started to grind out netties in the start, like really a lot. And I really started to understand how valuable the practice over there is compared to Battle.net. And in general, I just think that whenever I have time to prepare for an opponent, it suits me very well because Orc also is kind of a reactive race. You are more on the preparing end. You have to counter the opponent. And I just believe that having time to prepare, like I believe we each had 2 days and 2 weeks in between the play days.
True.
It just suits my style. I had a lot of time to watch replays of my opponent, study their gameplay, notice patterns in their game, and just try to find the right answers to that.
Nice. Is there any player, maybe on NetEase, that you remember to be very helpful, maybe from playing against them or watching their replays, like Lin or Focus or any other org in particular?
In general, there are like a few players for each race that are really helpful and valuable to play against. When I came back, I started to watch Lin replays and also VODs from the last couple of years really extensively. So not only the way he plays, but also the way he fights and so on. I was having a close look at the way he is grouping his units. How is he maneuvering during the fight, even in, I believe, 0.5 speed.
Yeah.
And yeah, Lin is definitely like the number one source of information for me regarding org improvement.
Great.
And then there's, of course, Focus and so on.
Cool. That's great to hear. And here was a question from Grubby that he was very interested in to hear where you've been or what you've been doing during the early 2000s, you know, during his era when he was actively playing. Were you watching the game at all, or what was your status back in the days?
Yeah, besides being a huge fanboy of Grubby, you mean? Yeah, so I started to play the game in like, I believe 2005, maybe even 2004, I'm not too sure. I just remember that I started to play in the ESL in 2007, I believe, was when I first registered my account. Yeah, and then I was competing in the amateur series, also in the German one. Yeah, and unfortunately, in like 2009, I believe, I even made it into the German EPS relegation, which was an offline event where we would qualify for the EPS. But unfortunately lost to Showtime in the finals.
The same Showtime as in StarCraft 2 now?
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah.
I don't
It would have been a
so.
great coincidence, but yeah.
Yeah, and the season afterwards, I was on a direct qualification spot for the EPS, but that was unfortunately the time when StarCraft 2 hit in and ESL decided to cancel Warcraft German EPS.
So cool, though, how the times have turned. You know, Warcraft 3 going a little bit through a renaissance right now with Reforged coming up soon. So there's a lot of momentum right now for the game. And you said you were a big fan of Grubby. And let me tell you, Spiral, when I talked to Grubby about who could be the next challenger for Neutron, when I suggested you, Spiral, he was very excited about it. He also mentioned your name before, so I think his response in Discord was like, yes! So now he's kind of a fan of yours too, and that's great, right?
That's amazing. He was like a huge idol for me back in the days when I was like 15 years old.
There we go. Awesome.
Feeling so hard for him back then. And he was like the guy where I based my gameplay off back in the day. So I tried to watch every of sorry, all of his replays and try to see how he approaches the game. And yeah, I think some foundations of my play are based on his playstyle back then.
There we go, and the circle is complete. What are your thoughts on the Orc versus Night Elf matchup at the moment? Do you think it's relatively balanced? Do you think Night Elf still has a little bit of an advantage? When I talked to Neutron, by the way, he said that Night Elf, in his opinion, is still a little bit favored. Do you agree with that?
Compared to a few months ago, before the last patch hit, where the Keeper and the Alchemist got a little nerf, I think the matchup is pretty fine right now. I would even say it's balanced. It's just a little bit easier for the Orc to go wrong in certain stages of the game,
right?
Compared to the Night Elf. So I would say if both players play the game on equal level, it might be a slightly bit favored for the Night Elf, but in general, I don't feel like I'm in a disadvantage like I used to against Human, for example.
And last but not least, Spiral, the final question for you. Tell me your thoughts about Neutron as a player and your thoughts about the series that comes up this Friday. You met in EGG a couple of weeks ago. It didn't go so well for you. What are you going to do differently, and what do you think about Neutron?
Neutron is a very strong player. When I came back in 2018, I believe he was even attending some offline events in China. And yeah, nothing but respect for him. He's playing on the highest level. I would rate him top 2 Night Elf in Europe right now.
Next
just
to
behind Foggy. Yeah. Maybe a slight bit under Foggy, but yeah, nothing but respect. I think he also has a great game understanding, and yeah, what I'm gonna do differently, I can't tell you yet. But you can be sure that I have some plans for the games.
Nice. And then I think we're done with this interview. Thank you very much for your time. Maybe some final shout-outs to the fans or someone else in particular?
Yeah, just thanks for having me attending this Fight Night edition, and I hope it's going to be great games. See you Friday.
There we go. See you guys on Friday. If you don't want to miss out on the action, make sure to check us out on twitch.tv/HeroesHearth. If you can't make it to that live appointment, you can still check out the VOD on this YouTube channel simply by subscribing. Hit this video up with a like, and maybe let us know in the comments who you think is going to come up supreme. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and see you on Friday.